Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Kyle X, and he's in the Iowa, a tier 9 US battleship. He's on the map Crash Zone Alpha in a 4-point domination game mode. So this is a tier 9 battle, which is quite lovely. There is no carrier, but there are 4 destroyers, which means quite a few torpedoes. Now he's also divisioned with a destroyer and another Iowa. And well, it looks like his division mate in the Goatland is going for the sea camp. Now, meanwhile, he is pushing here towards D. And I mean, that makes sense, right? They have 2 other friendly destroyers here at D, so his division mate is picking up the slack and taking the center. And he's already lost a destroyer there in the south, which is quite unfortunate. But, you know, well, the friendlies just lost another destroyer. Which is also quite unfortunate. Now, he is pushing here rather aggressively into 2 enemy DDs. Now, the friendlies have quite a large force and the enemies do not, so pushing here probably a good idea, but he has to be careful. The Mars is probably going to torp his way, so is the Skane. I think he should turn a little bit more towards the Mars. The Mars has been taken care of. Well, yeah, I mean, I would really expect torpedoes here. I mean, he's slowing down, so he's probably trying to juke the torps that way, and unfortunately that didn't quite work. That's a lot of damage very early into the game. I will look at that broadside Fiji. Do something with that. But you know, it was a big blow, but it's not over yet. Oh, the Fiji is down to 500 hit points. Well, he's healing. Now the next salvo might be able to finish it off. He's trying to use his rear guns here. Now he has to be careful that he isn't showing too much broadside to the Chambard, so he definitely should turn back towards the Chambard. Also, there is still a Skane, so at least this should be rather well angled. I presume the Skane is somewhere in this area. But yeah, now he has to turn towards the Chambard. We have a friendly hitman in North Carolina who a little bit scared in the back. I mean, I can kind of understand the hit, but I would love to see the North Carolina a bit more aggressive. But he still has the Hood here with him, and he still has the, what was it, a Mars or so here. That's nice. Meanwhile, his division mate was forced out of the sea camp. But you know, the friendlies are 1 ship ahead, so not too bad. Now Kyle is trying to blind shoot the Fiji in the smoke. The Fiji is very low. The thing is, the Chambard is nicely angled, so he won't do that much with his guns. He's going to a reverse now because he doesn't want to ram. I mean, the friendlies have so many ships here. It makes sense. So he wants to take care of the Fiji first, and let's see why. Now this time he's dodging all the torpedoes. So he got the Fiji. Unfortunately, he's not dodging all the torpedoes. Now Skane's torps don't hurt that much, so that's quite fine, I guess. Now it's time to finally take care of this Chambard. Although, I guess in this situation he could have also tried shooting this Skane. I mean, finishing off destroyers is rather important, but Chambard is getting low and maybe it's about time to deal with that threat.
Destroyed an enemy battleship.
So, well, the friend is actually 2 ships ahead, although they've lost quite a few destroyers so far. But now they can finally flip this camp. There is still a nice force here in this south. Well, okay, we just lost a ship down there. So I guess the friendlies at A definitely need some help. So, well, there is nobody here left to really spot that Skane, so it's probably going to stick around. That's a bit unfortunate because, I mean, the destroyer can harass those battleships with torpedoes. This is happening right now, and then afterwards the destroyer might be able to sneak back in and flip this camp. Like, the friendlies don't have a radar left. I mean, the Hitler has probably Hydro, as does the Friedrich, but no carrier. Well, I mean, they still have 1 destroyer themselves. But there is that. Speaking of destroyers, there is an Erland spotted, and that was a very nice hit there. Now, if they can take care of this destroyer, this would be rather nice. Now, Kyle is turning here to use his rear turret on the Erland because he wants to sink this destroyer rather quickly. Has to be careful that he isn't like turning too much because he still needs to potentially watch torps coming his way. And he got it. I think I would have stayed more nose in there. But exactly, there are the torps. So he's going to eat port. He has eaten a lot of fish this battle, but you know, he's already up to 4 kills. Not too much damage, but he has shot quite a few destroyers, I suppose, and the Fiji that didn't have much health. So keep that in mind. And oh, are there more torpedoes coming?
Fire alarm.
Well, those aren't too problematic, I suppose. It's still anyone's game at this point. The enemies do have a better cap control though. When the destroyer is coming to grab C, but well, the enemy is ahead on points. They are though equal on ships, so you know, still anyone's game. Now Alaska is potentially showing a bit of broadside there. Maybe he can get a nice shot in. His hit points are very low, so while he has been rather aggressive so far, he might have to sit back a little bit there. But you know, his division mate in the Iowa is now incoming. His division mate is far more healthy, so his division mate will take point here right now. And he will just, you know, rotate back a bit. And hopefully, the enemy will shoot his other friend, the Iowa, for now. Now we have a North Carolina who is still quite a bit too far in the back, I presume. We have a Hood actually charging that K. And I mean, there's no way the Hood can win this engagement unless the destroyer screws up. I mean, the destroyer is spotted, so the destroyer already screwed up. So that was a good job by the Hood, although that was rather unexpected, right? The destroyer could have stayed out of being spotted forever. We just torped the Hood. But you know, nice if the enemies make some mistakes there. Now the enemy fleet here is moving in, and that's quite a lot of enemies. 2 Pommans, Prince, and you know, the Friesland. Interestingly enough, everybody here has torpedoes except the destroyer. And everybody has hydro, including the destroyer. So I presume torpedoing them will not be that easy, but despite all of that, it looks like the Pomman might actually eat a torp here. Now, 1 Pomman is getting rather low. Are those torpedoes going to hit the Friesland? I doubt it. I mean, the Friesland would need to monumentally screw up here. And the Friesland has monumentally screwed up. Everyone there has hydro, and the torps already hit the Pomman, so they must have been kind of spotted. I mean, maybe not all of them were spotted. Maybe he thought like he... I don't know. But it's amusing. Now, unfortunately, friendly Iowa here is taking quite a beating. Now 1 Pomman is down. He did a good job of tanking, I suppose, but you know, being in the secondary range of 2 Pommans while being pummeled by Prince and the Friesland, it's not something you survive for long. Now the friendlies are 1 ship ahead right now. But you know, Kyle here is very low on hit points, so if he gets the... If he gets focused by all of those enemies, he won't last very long. Now currently, he is in cover from the Pomman, probably from the Friesland, and... I mean, he's not detected, but he's probably going to wait until he gets a good shot at the Prince, and then hopefully getting some... citadels or something. Now, meanwhile, the North Carolina has finally arrived, still full health, so the North Carolina might be able to tank there a little bit, or at least grab their attention, and hopefully the friendlies can actually get a crossfire going. So, yeah, I mean, the Friesland is a good target. The Prince is somewhat broadside. He could hope for the citadels there. He could go for the Friesland because the destroyer is low and not moving a lot. I think it was reversing. I think I'd agree I would have gone for the Friesland too. He got actually 2 hits there. Fortunately, the Friesland is now in cover. But taking care of the Friesland would be very helpful. It's the last enemy destroyer after all. Now, Prince is going full broadside. So definitely a good target of opportunity. The Pomman is getting rather low, but if he can get the... No, he can't get the... Well, that was quite a bit of damage for 3 overpens, but Citadel is never there when you need them. Now the Pommern has torpedoes, so he's now going forward and he's probably trying to angle here because I would expect troops coming his way there.
Enemy battleship destroyed.
And maybe he's not expecting the troops that much because yes, he wants to use his rear guns here, but honestly I would have let's screw the rear guns and try to angle against potential incoming torpedoes. Now, meanwhile, the Prince offers another opportunity, and now this time, speaking of torpedo, oh, another 7. I was just saying, you know, this wreck is probably stopping the Prince from popping him, but, you know, the Prince survived long enough that potentially he could. Now, we just saw some torpedoes going for the North Cal. So, it's possible that all of the troops. Well, the North Cal got taken out, but it's a 2 against 2. And, you know, the enemy team unfortunately has a points advantage, and our Iowa isn't too healthy here anymore. Now let's have a look. Friendly destroyer is still rather healthy. We know the Friesland is on low health. Not entirely sure how low. The Friesland has some scary gun power, so there is that. And the Friesland is spotted. And also not sure how healthy the Alaska is. Now, for example, if the Alaska would spot the Iowa, the Friesland could easily farm it if he has another smoke ready. I mean, 13,000 hit point Iowa, Friesland should be able to burn that down in no time. Of course, he has to hit a bit more for that, I guess. So, Shell is going towards the Friesland. That's 1 over pen. Friesland is down to 2,000 hit points. Now, as I said, Friesland has Hydro, which is a bit scary, right? If you're a destroyer and you're charging the Friesland in its smoke, because the Friesland might just farm you with its gun power. But if the Friesland does have smoke, yeah, exactly, like the friendly destroyer managed to take that out. So that just leaves the Alaska. Now Alaska is a raider ship. Alaska is also pretty low, but in this duel anybody could win. That's a good hit. But he's so low. If the Alaska sinks him, will the Goatland be able to win this? Well, and that brings us to the results. Kyle earned himself 2,254 base experience, and his whole division did very well there. And I guess they carried this game. He achieved a Confederate, a Dreadnought, and a Kraken, scoring 131,000 points of damage and sinking 6 enemies. And I'm still amazed that he survived that. He took quite a lot of torpedoes in this, but you know, in the end, he prevailed. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you next time.